going on? Ian Owen here, Brian Burke.
What's up? GoBeyondDating.com. Alright, this is video 3, Sexual Inception. Basically making it sexual, making your conversation sexual with a woman. You know, I have Sexual Spark video product that is, you know, kind of really in-depth about this. The Sexual Supremacy Home Study course is massive, like everything that you'll ever need to know. What we're going to do here is give you like kind of a two-step, very easy way to kind of a two-step system that you can apply to your conversations the next time you meet a woman to, you know, kind of create that sexual spark, that sexuality. It's been called sexual tension. I like the word spark a little better, but you know what we're talking about. You can feel that there's something there. Okay.
Yeah. This is the difference between, you know, even if you do have a good connection with a girl, it being just a friendship and it ending up in a bedroom like this, and it's the littlest things. And one big thing I want to say is the faster and earlier on in a meeting you do this, the bigger an effect it's going to have, because you're changing the frame right from the beginning of her seeing you as a sexual person as opposed to just a guy she's talking to who sort of, you know, she doesn't know yet. And go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, it's called a precedent, and it's very hard. Once a precedent is set in a relationship, it's very difficult to change it. It can be more fluid with like a platonic relationship, like with guys. Like, you know, I've had maybe professional relationships that became also friendships and vice versa. So you can change the precedents to some degree. Another way to call it is a frame, right? But with women, it can be very difficult because there's no context. It's just, she doesn't know who you are. Now she's meeting you. Okay, what is it? What are we doing? So that precedent early on is very important. The two keys here, the two kind of principles is appreciation, focality. Okay, that's how to make it sexual. And that gets into sort of, you know, I got this from David Data. It's really powerful. The man says, I want you. Or the man's nature, energy, the masculine essence says, I want you. The feminine essence says, I want you to want me. Okay, so your desire is a good thing. The fact that you're sexually attracted to her, that you desire her, actually makes you sexy to her. It turns her on. Okay, because that's her nature, to be turned on by a man desiring her. There's a lot of research going on right now that's actually proving this. If you check out what do women want? Great book that basically very fluid sexuality. Women have very fluid sexuality compared to men, but the underlying theme, the fundamental principle, is the feeling desired. So appreciation.
Yeah, let's say, you know, as a guy, you know the feeling too when a girl just seems to just want you. Mm-hmm. You know, there's that, it makes you feel good, and but right. It's more natural for them to get that response from you, and that's what they crave.
The interesting thing about that is with a woman, if I'm not interested in her physically, but she really wants me, I'm not going to dislike that, but she's not going to be able to really convince me, right? It's more fluid for a man. There's more potential there for, you know, because women are more interested in how you think. So you don't necessarily have to be really good looking or tall or buff or, you know, having some sort of, you know, cool outfit or whatever. You can be like an average looking guy or even below average, but if your desire is authentic and passionate, and then you do kind of the stuff we're going to talk about, you can get the most beautiful women. You can have them in your life. So it's for men, it's less about looks right off.
And everybody's seen that ugly bastard walking down the street with some, you know, really attractive woman. And you're like, first, you know, idea is, oh, he must be rich. He must, you know, there's something about him that guys want to just initially just attribute whatever that reason is.
It makes you feel better, right?
Right. But the fact is, there are some guys who just, they give off a sexual vibe. A girl may even be like, yeah, I don't even understand it. He's not even good looking, but he just turns me on.
The guys I've known that were the best with women, none of them were good looking.
Other than me, of course.
That was a joke, right? Okay, so anyways, I can just think of these guys. You know, one guy, he was short, kind of older, bald Indian dude, didn't dress very well, drove like a dirty old van, and he was amazing. He was incredible, and it was because he was very genuine and authentic. That appreciation just coming through with everybody that he talked to. So that's where it comes from.
So to say, you know, one of the older guys I knew when I was in high school, he was, you know, almost like 10 years older than me, bartender and chubby, wore glasses. He looked like a chubby, short Clark Kent, like, except for the good looks part. And he did amazingly well. And I was always like, I never understood it. And it's because, you know, I didn't know it back then, but he had all of these things. He was genuinely straightforward. He didn't bullshit, and he just set that vibe. Like, the girls just knew that he knew what he was doing in bed.
That's what he does with women. He fucks women. Yeah. And a lot of guys, I think, almost like pretend to be gay. It's, you think that you're being respectful, or, you know, maybe you're scared to show that interest because of some insecurities or whatever.
Yeah.
But fundamentally, you're basically pretending to be gay, or maybe even like asexual. Mm-hmm. So the two principles here, or the two keys: appreciation, and then we want to show appreciation to her mind, or for her mind and body. Actually, the order is body, then mind. That's what I like to do. You can probably mix it up. Don't take anything as like, this is the rule. Take it, use it as you please. But appreciation, mind and body, and you want to balance those. Too much mind interest, not enough body interest, friend zone. Too much body interest, not enough mind interest. Creeper, jerk, you know, too aggressive.
Yeah.
So, go ahead.
Just going to say, that's sort of the big thing we're getting at here, is if you can, you know, learning how to create the sexual spark really is pretty simple. And especially one of the biggest disconnects we've seen for guys is that they can talk to women in the sense that, like, every guy's talked to women, whether it's at your job, whatever it is that you've done, you've met women before, and maybe you can have conversations and it's great, but it's just always a friend thing. It is very simple to shift that, and so that's like the method we want to give you.
So we were talking about precedent. The way we're going to do this is verbally and physically with touch. And then also there's another part with sort of like attention and proximity that I'll show you at the end. That's like a bonus. We said two, but I'm going to give you a third one. So appreciation, we're going to do it to her body first, then her mind.
Just flipped off the camera.
Did I flip off cars when we're driving because for some reason I always do this in the window. Anyways.
That's topic.
Yeah. So, okay, so verbally, and you're going to do this verbally and physically. So verbally, you can do this with like a direct opener. If you don't, that would be something like, wow, you're beautiful, whatever. If you don't say something complimentary, you can also just say, hi, what's your name? But you need to show that appreciation, focality in your eyes. So you could say, you know, wow, I love that beard, Yana. Or you can say, hey, what's your name?
Yeah.
And there's that appreciation there.
So the biggest thing, though, of what he just did, even saying to me, was here. Just that little touch. That's the biggest.
Yep.
That changes everything.
Mm-hmm.
I've even sat and watched a friend talk to girls with a girl with me, and she's saying, oh, what, you know, and sort of looking, and it's interesting to see what they think. She's saying the same thing. She's like, he's not touching her at all. Mm-hmm. And it's like, women want to be touched in a not like a creepy way, but they, you know, just something like this, a little bit of just on the lower back. That's where the magic happens, by the way.
Make sure she can see you when you do it. Unless she's way far away and I have to tap her to get her attention because I can't get over there, I really don't like to touch women until they've actually looked in my eyes. So that's a little caveat to that.
Other than, the walk by and stop type thing, then you wait for the eye contact to talk.
The next part, going along with the touch, and by the way, maybe even if you just approach her in maybe it's at a house party, so it's more warm, it's an acquaintance, maybe you've seen her before or something like that. Early on in the conversation, say something about her, you know, wow, that dress looks great on you. Not, I like your dress, but that dress looks great on you.
And mean it. Don't say it if you don't.
You know, or her hair. Something showing physical interest that you are noticing her body. That's okay, all right? Now you're going to do that. Now when she responds, so let's say, you know, I like your dress, okay, then respond. Okay, so say, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to give just a little appreciative touch. It's actually it's protective and then appreciative, and the focalities happen really quickly. But if you stay in them, you're all good. You can't fuck it up. So it's going to be, so you say thanks. I say you're welcome. So now I'm kind of reassuring. I'm saying you're safe with me, and then for a split second there's also the little love. Okay, so yeah, you're welcome. Okay, see that extra little all right? That's protection, appreciation. So I'm basically setting a physical precedent there. Also, oh no, I was going to jump into the mind thing. Do you have anything to add about that?
No, I mean, biggest thing here is commitment. Like, the worst thing to watch is a guy doing this. hover hands. It's one of the most painful things to see. Just Google it if you've never seen it before. It's hilarious and saddening at the same time.
It's really, yeah.
I mean, it can happen to anybody if you're like, should I touch? Just if you make the decision, touch. Like,
100%.
go for it. And then, so actually, one other thing I would say is
to fix the hover hands, challenge yourself to touch the center of your palm when you touch.
yeah, you can't miss if you do that. That's true.
Yeah.
One thing that I always hear guys complaining about that I use as an advantage is guys are always talking about, it's so loud in here, you know, like it's, you know, obviously like a bar or club type setting, or even anywhere where it's too loud. Guys are always like, I can't hear, I didn't know what she's saying, it's getting annoying. I use that as a time to initiate a lot more physical contact. Mm-hmm. It's not like I even think about it, it's just like, oh, what do you say? And I always come close. That's one of the first things you can do within a conversation to set that precedent, is after she said something, just, sorry, what did you say? And then you just move closer, put your ear close to hers, and just touch her back a little bit and pull yourself closer. That right there changes everything.
Right.
Completely.
So the second part of this, appreciate her mind, her personality, okay? It's funny, I actually just heard this old song by Starpoint, I think. It's like one of those early 80s R&B songs, whatever. I don't know, I like all kinds of music. But anyway, the song was called He Wants My Body. And I was listening to it on Pandora, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. And I was listening to it, and she was basically saying the exact same thing I'm thinking here, that she's dating this guy, and she can tell that he's only interested in her body. And some of the lyrics, I can't remember them, but one was like, I'm more than just a pretty face. He's not interested in my mind. I mean, literally, like this song, I don't know if you want to, go check that song out, but it's basically, from a woman's perspective, laying this out. So second step, mind appreciation, okay? You want to appreciate her mind. Again, we're just going to do this verbally and physically, okay?
Right, and so, real quick, if you want a more up-to-date reference on that song, is...
I like the oldies jams.
Do What You Want With My Body, R. Kelly and Christina Aguilera. Yes, I listened to it. No, I'm not ashamed, I guess. But she's saying, do what you want with my body, which is what happens if you've appreciated the mind properly, right? Then she is going to feel open enough to say, do what you want with my body. So that's sort of the other end of the spectrum there, and a more relevant song.
Yeah, Christina Aguilera. I'll keep my star point. All right, so, so verbally, here's just some things you can say. Again, keeping it simple. So, you're fun. I'm having fun with you. I like how you think. I'm thinking, as one thing I've said before is, a girl maybe will say something that's interesting or funny or intelligent, maybe something that gets me thinking. And I'll say, smart lady. Or, sort of this kind of like it's like what do you call that? When it's not an actual word, I don't know what it's called. But I'm just expressing emotion. So maybe, if you tell me something that, that impresses me and it's coming from your mind, it's a personality thing, I say, yes, I like how you think. So I like how you think is another example.
I do something super similar, actually, which is just when a girl does something like, there are girls you meet that you just have a connection with, you're like, wow, she's fucking cool. Right? Like, I'll be...
That's the girls you want to date.
Yeah, exactly. And it's the girls you want to do anything with, really. Because once you learn how to connect with women, there's no point in being with women that you don't like that much.
When you're able to do the stuff that we're talking about, a lot of people become more cool. Because you're getting better at drawing out the real personality, the authentic expression. And so you'll find that women actually do become more interesting. I've had guys say, what if I just want to, what if I just like how she looks, but she's kind of annoying me or whatever. Maybe she is, maybe you don't have chemistry, the personalities don't match, but there's also a good chance that you're just not asking the right questions. You're not being authentic yourself. Maybe she doesn't feel comfortable being a dork, being silly, expressing her interests and her sense of humor and that kind of stuff. So people can become way more interesting if you do this stuff.
Yeah, and I'm saying, if you're being authentic and cool and she's not, and that rare occasion that happens, write it off. But what I was going to say is, what I do is I act surprised, and I am, because I still, for the most part, most women are, pretty boring. They're not the most exciting, and that's a generalization. I've actually found that I've met way more exciting women lately since I've been even more genuine.
Well, but most people are boring, and I think the reason for that is because, number one, we live in a culture that doesn't encourage sort of unique expression and figuring out what you stand for and what you're all about. But also, I think maybe a lot of people act boring because they're scared to show that. So especially with women, and I don't actually disagree. A lot of the times when I talk to women, I'm like, I feel like bored. And the reason for that is because it could be two things. It could be, number one, she's not opening up yet and being that kind of dorky, silly, how you are with your friends, right? It could be that. And so my job there is to draw that out by going first a lot of times. The other times, women are conditioned to act a certain way, to be a certain way, just like guys are. I guarantee if it was two women up here talking, they would say, a lot of times guys can be boring. Women tell me all the time that all guys are the same, they're boring, they don't have anything interesting to talk about. So in general, people are boring. There's something you can do about that, but there's also the part that you can't control, and that's just a matter of pulling your attention away. You don't have to give your time to anybody that doesn't interest you.
Yeah. And so just like, be surprised and acknowledge that. Be like, wow, you're cool. Like, I didn't really expect that. Or just like, wow, I'm like surprised. Like, we're getting along like so well. Like be appreciative of it in the sense that like she's different. That's what one of the biggest things is when you're doing that is you're not like other girls. And if you truly feel that way, then say that. Like, you're just like, cool. Some of the girls seem guarded and like, you just seem like way cooler. And that differentiates them. They feel special, and it creates a much deeper connection. They're much more willing to continue to be themselves.
Absolutely. The last thing I was going to say, sort of like a little bonus tip, is after each one of these. First of all, notice in the beginning, maybe I touch it. Sometimes I don't, but that initial appreciation about the body is going to be followed up with a quick protective and appreciative. So a reassuring, and then I'm interested in you, kind of with your hands, okay? And then you're going to verbalize it as well. Then a little bit later, at whatever point, don't force it, but there's going to be a point where you notice something interesting about her personality. And there's, tons of ways to like me conversation is like the fast way to do that, which is something I teach. But if you, so she shows you something about her personality, her mind essentially, then at the same, when you notice that, when you do the surprised, and I'm surprised when I meet cool people too, it's great. It's like something cool just happened. It's awesome, right? So, wow, you're smart, or you're funny, or I like how you think. So that's something I say a lot if I like how someone thinks. I say, wow, I like how you think. And I noticed this time it was at the same time, and it was appreciation touch again. It's no extra thinking. You don't have to do keynote techniques or special fancy techniques. What I'm saying it with my hand as well. It's fluid, it's perfectly natural, and you don't have to think about what you're doing. You're in the moment, staying right in that focality. The focalities keep you in the moment, okay? Focality being a modality of focus, which is a word I made up because I'm fucking weird. But
yeah, it's awesome. And beyond the scope here. But yeah, I mean, the touch thing is just, it's huge. That's really where there are things you can say to make conversation sexual and to make interaction sexual. And that's more advanced than something we talk about other stuff, but the physical is so simple, and anybody can do it. So that's why this is the simplest way.
The bonus thing I wanted to give you guys is sort of body angle and proximity. So, like I said, do the appreciation body, appreciation mind, but at each one of these steps, and you can do these multiple times too. I mean, I don't just give one compliment. Maybe later on, if a girl, she smells good, I might kind of lean into her neck and smell her. So that, again, I'm appreciating.
Not a sniff, not like a. That's way too creepy.
It's more like I'm not going to do it to you, but it's more like more like that, kind of just running up and down her neckline, right? So what's happening? What I'm trying to articulate is that you can do this multiple times, but be careful about going overboard. It's just like seasoning; like a little bit is good. But after each one, what I'm going to do is give her more of my attention. So I'm going to be, maybe I'm standing here. Okay, then after first appreciation, maybe it becomes here. Mind appreciation becomes here. Then what I want to do, I want to start thinking about having an exclusive focus where we're engaged, where she's not necessarily thinking about anyone else, or I should say she's not thinking about anyone else right now. She's totally engaged with me. So I may move her if there's people kind of crowding, it's not conducive to us relaxing and talking. I may say, come over here, okay, and then just guide her over here, right? It can be 1-2 steps, it could be an inch, it could be maybe just moving my position, maybe she's standing there, and I just move over here. Okay, now you have to move, right? So now you're engaged with me. Right. If her friends are over here, I don't necessarily need to take them away or do any of that isolation, seduction bullshit. All I need to do is just have her right here and have her focused on me here as well. And that can be done with just this. Okay, so that's kind of a bonus. What I'm doing there, though, I'm still escalating as a reward. I'm giving her more of my attention, my energy, my time. All of it is, it's me, and I'm giving it to her because she's impressing me. I like her. She's turning me on. Okay, and that's communicating to her. He wants me. Woman says, I want you to want me. Feels good. He likes me for my body and mind. No problem. It's great. You know, and it's this whole time you're indicating that you're going to be good in bed.
So the last thing I'd say on that is sort of what I said before. If it's the two things that guys will complain about in like a bar club setting is loud noise or being too close together with people, you can turn both of those into your own advantage. Use the loud noise to get closer to her and actually try and hear her, or you can go somewhere quieter. And then the other one is, you know, if you're really close and people are pushing and shoving you around, just be comfortable to get closer and use that sort of as an excuse to do so.
Protection.
Yeah, and that's what you're doing. Or if you walk her, you know, if you do move somewhere, like, you know, you hold her hand and walk her through the bar, and it's natural. It's not a weird thing to do.
I got a lot of cool things about the holding hand. I don't know. Yeah, it's getting a little long.
Yeah.
So basically, I want to wrap up by saying that this all may seem like techniques, like moves, but this is what you would do with the right focus. If you weren't trying to get laid, if you weren't trying to impress, you would do this kind of stuff naturally. You would have your own style. Me and you would have different personalities. We do it in different ways, but fundamentally there is that escalation because you're appreciating mind and body. There is the kind of offering more of your time and energy. There is the protection. That's all stuff you would do if you weren't afraid of women because you were trying to get over on them, if you didn't see them as an enemy, if you understood how they see men and how they see sexuality and all that stuff, you would do this naturally. So it may seem like techniques, but think about why this works, why we're doing this, why we're telling you to do this. Basically, the kind of protection, appreciation, these are all leadership focalities, okay? The cool thing about the focalities and why they're so easy to learn and apply, like, immediately, is you're already doing them. There's only 6, and you're already doing them, already in your life. So what that means is you already have the ability to connect with the women you want, to turn them on fast, like immediately, and then make a powerful connection. The challenge is that you're doing the focalities in other contexts, and then when there's a pretty woman in front of you, then it goes into deception, which is the bad one. So we actually I've developed in the next video we're going to give you some sort of like mind hacks where you can tap into what I was just talking about, how you're already doing it right in other ways, you're already thinking in the right way in other contexts, and we're just going to translate that to doing it when there's an attractive woman in front of you. I don't know why I'm gesturing to you at that point. You got to at least shave for these videos. So, okay, so I don't know, mind hacks for like instant success, you know, we'll give it some funny name, but basically that's what it is. You're hacking, you're short-circuiting that old negative wiring of, you know, trying to impress, trying to be confident, trying to be good enough, which really just prevents you from taking action and getting experience. I'm gonna kind of subvert that and take how you're already thinking in the right way with the right focalities, and we're just gonna apply that to women, and you can just go out and do it. So that's coming in the next one.
Yeah, that's all for now. Go out and touch someone in a good, non-illegal way.
Made or not.
Hey man, it's Brian. Hopefully you enjoyed the videos. Obviously I couldn't include everything on these short videos. You're going to want to check out a much more in-depth video series I made called Sexual Spark. Me and Ian actually alluded to it several times. It's comprehensive and it has everything you need to know to get started meeting and triggering that sexual spark to make them want to sleep with you. As you can see, I break the system down in depth and go way into detail so that you can start using the Sexual Spark system in your own life right away. The discount's only going for a couple more days, so click below to learn more and let's make it happen.